Hello everybody, in this series I'm gonna show you the most beautiful places in all of Eurotruck. And the first country we will talk about is the country of Germany. So first off, let's talk about some of the main facts. Germany is the biggest country in Eurotruck. It has a very central location and it is also very diverse, being flat in the north and mountainous in the south. Now in the game, the landscape is actually quite boring because most of it is just very flat with a lot of fields. So let's just not waste a lot of time with that and get on with the first site. The first site I will show you is the football stadium in Munich. As you can see, I've been there at night, which makes it even better. It glows in the dark, here in this game only in blue. In real life, it glows in multiple colors. I found this to be pretty beautiful. Even though you can't really get close to it, it's still nice. I would personally rate this a 7 out of 10, because sadly, it just doesn't look too good. As you can see, the next site is the Parkhaus in Stuttgart. I have found this to be so beautiful. It is just a huge building stretching across the entire street. It is great that you can get much closer to it than to some of the other sites, and I have found this to just be nice. Now, the Parkhaus itself isn't as good, but the airport next to it makes the scenery look even better. I've not seen an airport as detailed as this one in this game yet, and you can even see the planes, buses and all the area around it. So that really makes this whole area look better. Now personally, I would give this an 8 out of 10 just because of the scenery. Now as you can see, I've got another beautiful scenery here. This is not a real site, but I still think that it looks magnificent with the river flowing below the bridge and a small street on the side of it. I think that this is just one of the small things in the country that make it so much better. The last site of this video is the Köhlbrand Bridge. It is honestly good looking, but once again it is so sad that you cannot drive across it. That just makes it so much worse. But the thing that makes it better is the port nearby. I really like it. It looks very cool with the big ships that are still detailed. There are also these huge cranes and it's just such a big area. It's all so immersive. Now of course the textures on the ship are not HD, but that is just because you will never get as close to the ship as I was there. And honestly, if you showed me a video like this, I would not be able to differentiate it from real life. It just looks so realistic in my opinion. Now, the bridge itself is not that amazing, but the port manages to get it a 6 out of 10. And now we're getting into the highlight of the video. I thought that Hanover is the most beautiful thing that you can find in this country. As you can see, it's just huge. This building alone is bigger than some of the cities, and it is still so detailed. You can zoom in to every single small bit of it and you can see all of the detail. It will not look bad. Now another thing I like about Hanover is that it is realistically designed. Now, I'm not an expert about architecture, but even I can say that this is realistic because you can see that the industrial buildings are further outside of the city, and then the further you drive in, the more residential zones you will see. Now, when getting back to the size of the city, you can say for sure that this is the biggest city in the entire game. At least when you talk about the base game, there's nothing compared to it. For example, just look at this clip right here. I was not sure where to go. I thought you could go into any direction you wanted, but turns out you can't. It is all just so immersive. That's another thing that makes this city so much better. It's just the sheer size of it. You can drive around it for up to 15 to 30 minutes and still find new things because there's just so much. You can see that there's small ways, like for example here on the left, I could drive there. Even though there's nothing there, I could still do it. And that's just it, you have all of those possibilities. Now in this area you can see that a train crosses the street, and I just happened to come by at the right time where I was able to catch a train actually going by, and that just made it even better. Now that train is actually surprisingly detailed. You can see that there are people inside of it and that it's still driving on beyond the areas you won't even be able to see. And that is just one amazing thing there as well. I hope you also like that and that you can understand why I love this area here exponentially. And after that beautiful train passing by, we actually managed to see my favorite street in all of the Hanover. I just think that this street shows how well the city is made. You can see that there are cars parked on the side of the streets, that there's so many different houses, and they're not too different. Most of them look the same, but that is also not just laziness. It's also quite realistic, because not every house in real life looks different from one of each other. I also happen to like these small details like football fields and tennis fields. They just add so much together. Also, realistically, a city needs a lot of parking space, and they have got a lot. Now here you can see another larger part of Hanover. There are a couple of taller buildings. As you can see right here, it does look very beautiful. But whenever you look at this area, you will definitely see some of the weirder shaped buildings. Now the shapes for these buildings are quite irregular. Now you can see this one is a circle, for example. The other one was like a cylinder. And here is another glass bridge, which is also pretty cool. There are a lot of buildings here and a lot of trucks, and this brings the total rating of Hanover to 9 out of 10. Now that concludes all of the topics we're going to talk about, and it's time for the official rating. Landscape, I give it a 6 out of 10. Cities, an 8 out of 10, they're quite good. Sites, 7 out of 10, quite boring sometimes. And overall, an 8 out of 10, very hyped for the rework. Now, that's it for this video, and I hope you have enjoyed. Next time, we will go on with the Netherlands. I hope you're ready for that, and goodbye.